Hi friends, Magda Supreme here coming at you guys with another reading. So for this reading, this reading has been one that I've been wanting to do for a while. Recently someone reached out to me and asked for a past life reading, and I just thought it was like funny, and it was like kind of my sign to sit here and actually produce this video. I've really been sitting on it for a little bit, been milling it over, been wanting to do it, but been procrastinating on it. But I finally got my sign that I need to get my butt up and do it. And so here it is. So for this reading, I will be looking at your most recent past life and talking about the energies and the lessons that is carrying over from that life to this one. I am using a Supreme Original Spread. So remember, that's trademarked, a Supreme Original Spread. This particular spread that I used is quite popular. When I used to read on Facebook, this was the spread that I used to really get involved in people's past lives or talk about like spiritual guides that are like really aligned with them. I do have one disclaimer for this video, and this is just like part of my personal belief. This video is really, this reading may or may not resonate, because honestly, truly, I believe for past life readings, it's best if you go for a one-on-one or a personal and private reading for these. Remember that when you find videos on YouTube, a lot of readers are pulling on collective energy. So if you really want like a more personalized, timeline or more personalized message from your past life, I would suggest that you book a reading with me for that. Past life readings are literally one of my strongest readings. I'm very good at them. And my gift is very, very much geared towards pulling on spirits and things of that nature. And, not to toot my own horn, past life readings are like my strongest thing. So the disclaimer here is that this reading may or may not resonate. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You guys know the vibe. So for pile selection, we have 4 piles here, and I decided to pick to use cards for the pile selection, tarot cards. So for pile 1, your card is the Star. For pile 2, your card is Judgment. For pile 3, you have the 8 of Swords. And for pile 4, you have the Lovers. So take the time out to really observe the cards, feel the energy of the piles, and really decide which one is for you. So with that out of the way, we will be getting into pile 1. So if you chose the Star card, then this reading is for you. So pile 1, let's take a look at your most recent past life and some of the messages that might be there for you. Let me make sure that I have the entire spread in view and frame, I should say. Let's move everything up. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. All right, let's move this a little bit over. Make sure everything is, you can see it. And I think we're good now. So pile 1. The energy around your most recent past life, or at least the description, is the Student and the Gossip. Student says humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning, and the Gossip talks about awakened consideration for the feelings of others and honoring trust. Now, the way that I use these archetype cards is if they come out in reverse, I know that I need to lean more into the shadow attribute, but your archetype cards are upright. So it just lets me know that I can really take into consideration the light attributes of this. Now, with the student and the gossip, there's a strong energy here of you being a very lifelong student of life. Like, I know it might sound weird, but it's like you've been really learning and growing in your past life. Like, your most recent past life was filled with a lot of growth. And you probably was like very much challenged in that past life, but I really feel like even though you was challenged in that life, I feel like you probably overcame it, or you didn't at least like turn extremely negative, especially since your archetype cards are not in reverse. You were a very considerate and kind person. You were very trustworthy at that, and very humble and devoted to like opening and learning. I really get the feeling that even though I said lifelong student, it could have been like you were just like someone who was just like always open to like learning life. I really feel like in your past life, you really wasn't like rich, especially since up here we have like the challenges to your life. And one of the challenges that's presented itself here is abundance. Like, you probably wasn't really rich or like really financially abundant in your life, but I get the feeling like your life was at least filled with like a good amount of healthy experiences. And I say healthy because one of the things that I'm starting to understand is that life is full of challenges, and you need to look at challenges as a healthy thing. There's an energy here that your life was like very, very much challenged. Like, there was a lot of things that you had to go through, a lot of inner work that needed to be done. One of the things about learning is I feel like you had to learn a lot about yourself. One of the other challenges to your life is the unlimited possibilities card. You probably felt very, very limited in your past life. Felt like you didn't really have a lot of options. Didn't really have a lot going on. It was just you having to go and learn and be. And I'm hearing like Beyonce, at least the title of one of her songs, School in Life. Like, you really just had to go through the school of life. There was a strong energy of like really strong spiritual, or at least like spiritual character development. You had to really get down to the truth of yourself, who you really are, and what kind of person what kind of spirit you are. Of course, there isn't anything here to indicate that you are very spiritual or anything like that. I don't feel that energy. So I'm not going to like really inject that into this reading. But what I am going to say is that even though you probably wasn't spiritual in nature, your life was very much like a discourse in spirituality and how it can really help you overcome a lot of things. Because you really faced a lot of challenges in this life, and it was very stifled and very much like you just really had to learn and be adaptable and work on the fly. But the one thing that's really here is that you were always humble, and that you were somewhat trustworthy to other people, or at the very least, you didn't really like go out there and like really turn to the dark side, I would say. You probably kept your energies to yourself. You had a very small group of friends, because again, there's that limit of abundance here, and having a big friend circle, who knows? Maybe not having a big friend circle, but I'm going to just continue going what I was challenging. Like, having a big friend circle would have been something that would have been looked at as abundance to you in the past life. Having a huge friend circle, a lot of people that you could rely and count on and things of that nature. But it just wasn't really working out. Some of the challenges that you had up here, these two in particular, with A Fearful World and Afraid of the Addict, I really feel like you were someone who was like pretty talented. Again, you were someone who studied a lot, who I really feel like even if it wasn't just like school and in life, you also like had a little bit of a fair amount of knowledge as well. You probably was just like a very big scholar. And I'm seeing something like in terms of like Italy or Venice. Like, someone who's really studied and learned a lot of different skills, but was never really able to like really translate those skills and those knowledge into wealth, into like something that's like actually palpable. You was just like, I keep seeing, I know I don't have a lot of nerds on here on like on my channel, but I keep seeing Saint Germain from the series Castlevania. Saint Germain was a very talented and very learned person. And quite frankly, he was also immortal in that show. But the thing was, like, as time went on, people started valuing his knowledge less. Before, he used to be able to to find work in a court of kings as an astrologer, as a guide, as like an advisor. But as the centuries progressed on, he found out that his knowledge and his skill set was turning out to be particularly useless. Like, he really ended up just like doing little magic tricks on the street to just like make money, or to like really just or to just get by as time went on. And I really feel this energy here. Someone with so many skills, so many knowledges, so much knowledge, but you were either afraid to go out into the world to expand yourself beyond just the book smarts. You could have had a healthy fear of the world. Well, not a healthy, an unhealthy fear of the world, especially with a fearful world. You probably had a very negative viewpoint on other people, and you probably had a lot of traumatic experiences and a lot of difficulties dealing with other people that kept you from utilizing your gifts, your knowledge in a way that would have brought you abundance. Like, there's a very deep and very intrinsic soul searching here that had to happen. And I really feel like I said before that I felt like you completed it, but now that I'm really remembering the energy and my initial impressions, this was the pile, you guys. You were the pile that really died, that I felt like died a little bit on the younger side. You died on the younger side. You were so full of talent, so full of knowledge, but the fact of the matter is you kind of failed to translate that, or really failed to really bring that forward to produce anything of value in your life. And you passed away, and I really feel like you passed away younger here, passed away without having made anything of yourself, and all that potential wasted. And I really feel like, now I'm hearing someone saying that's a shame, and that I want to do this again. I want to try this and do it right this time. So that's something that I'm hearing and something that I feel. So down here with your tarot cards, this is representing the energies that were in your past life. We have the moon, the extra card in this, one of the extra cards in this deck, that's the Knight, the Six of Cups, and the Lovers. So with the moon and the Knight card, like I said, I really felt like you had to really face a lot of your own shadows here. Like, especially with a fearful world and afraid of the attic, there was a lot of trauma and a lot of deeply repressed things inside of you that you just really wasn't trying to face. Especially with the Knight card here, clear with the moon showing up with the moon. There's a lot of darkness, a lot of sadness, sorrow. It's a very underpinned thing. You could have been someone very beautiful, especially with the Six of Cups and the Lovers here. Someone very youthful, very attractive in appearance, but had a very deep sorrow to them. There's something about you being very tragic, very sad, a very sad individual, even though you were very humble, and you actually, like, if you did try to talk to other people, people probably tend to like you, probably seeing your potential before even you did. But you probably just had a very negative mindset on these things. And that was probably definitely one of the challenges in your life, with unlimited possibilities presenting as a challenge, a fearful world, and afraid of the attic. You were your own biggest enemy in your past life, Pile 1. So talented, so full of life, so attractive, and it all kind of ended tragically, or ended in a way where you didn't really get to express the breadth of your full knowledge, Pile 1. With the Six of Cups and the Lovers here, the Six of Cups tells me, again, this is that energy of childhood, of youth, of harmony. And the Lovers also speaks of harmony and coming together as well. But to me, the Lovers card here is about a choice. You had a choice in your life to either stay in this energy of fear and lack, or to change it around and to really make something of yourself. And again, with the Star card here, to really make something of yourself, to give in, to have faith in your talent, to dream, to dare to dream a bigger dream, to not let your circumstances be your defining factor. But like I said, your life I feel like it was tragically cut short before you can even get to this point. You spent a lot of time studying, a lot of time learning. You accrued a lot of knowledge, but then it kind of ended. I'm hearing I'd rather not talk about it. So I don't think whatever energy is here would rather like want to talk about how everything was just ended. But I am hearing that it was kind of a disease. You got sick. You ended up getting sick, and you passed away on the younger side of the spectrum from a sickness. Yeah, it was a sickness. So you ended up passing away on as a younger person, full of potential, but not really able to express it or turning into anything. So here, this card represents what have you learned from this life, and what lessons are you bringing into this life? And again, like I said, I felt like this energy, especially of the new life, is telling me that your spirit or like this past life wants to redo. Like it really wants to like change its life around and not repeat the same cycles of living in fear, of keeping itself small, of having a very negative mindset on humanity as a whole, or even just not being afraid to step out with their gift and their knowledge, afraid of being judged and persecuted for the things that they know. This spirit, your past life, I'm gonna say this spirit really wants to come forth in this life and to really express itself fully, to come out of its shell and to allow itself to like shine and be radiant. And this is exactly what this spirit is bringing towards your life. You probably are someone who probably knows things. You probably are very clear cognizant. You probably have a lot of knowledge, or probably a lot of things that you just kind of know. And that's this spirit, like really much like trying to express itself through you. This is something here where you really have to, where what was brought to you in this life was like a lot of knowledge, a deep wealth of knowledge. Probably not so much in terms of wisdom, but you probably know a bunch of odd facts. You can probably pick up certain things easier, especially if it's something that you studied in your life. You probably have a knack for research, or just really like researching and finding things out. But in all, this spirit really wants to like really express itself, to become abundant in this life, to really translate its knowledge into something palpable and physical to achieve. I feel that very strongly. So in order to heal this past life, you have to co-create with it. Again, I really feel like if you chose this pile, there's something inside of you that needs to be expressed. And in order to like really satiate your past life, in order to complete its cycle and to put this to rest and to allow it to know peace and to complete its cycle, you need to co-create. And what's funny is that new life is number 39 and co-create is number 40. So it's very funny that this is like a progression. You're meant to carry this torch and carry this flame. Your last life was tragically cut short, and like I said, I want to redo. I want to do it right this time. So, and if you're not really trying to create or really put your ideas out there or to make something of yourself in terms of life, if you're kind of just like going along with the machine, afraid to really express your knowledge, afraid to really step out and like do something that's very uniquely you, you're doing your spirit a big disservice here, and you're repeating a cycle of your past life. I wouldn't be surprised if you ended up facing health problems, if you have like a host of health problems and you feel like your life is stuck and stagnant, if you're not really creating or expressing or becoming a little bit more entrepreneurial in your life. I wouldn't be surprised if you're feeling a little sickly. But the fact of the matter is, like, if you want to feel... Now, a lot of people say don't take medical advice from tarot, but I kind of feel like the spirit and the body and health kind of works hand in hand. If you really want to start feeling better, I think you might really just need to start letting loose a little bit of your energy. Like really just start putting your ideas out there. Really start trying to come together, put your mind together, and to really come out with something that's uniquely you. The co-create card speaks of co-creating with spirit, and I feel like your past life, this life is now a spiritual guide with you in your current incarnation. And it's one of the guides that are really just trying to like, and that's really influencing you and want you to embody this certain aspect of someone who creates, who turns their ideas, their creative talents, their knowledge into something palpable in their life. Like maybe studying to be an engineer, going to be a doctor, or being a teacher or something like that. Well, a college professor, I would say. There's something here about needing to turn your knowledge into wealth, into abundance in your life, because you're very, very intellectually gifted. You've been through the hardship of life, and you're probably a little bit more mellow in this lifetime, and you're meant to really create something. And that's exactly what I feel. So I'm going to pull some additional oracle cards for this energy, and then I'm going to let you go, Power One. So what else does Collective One's past life want to express? Oh, come on now. Come on now. Creation. Yes, you're really meant to manifest and to bring something new into this lifetime, Power One, in order to help satiate this spirit, in order to help bring some closure to this life, and to find some fulfillment in this current life. You need to create something. You need to leverage your skills, talents, and abilities, and create something that's going to bring you physical abundance. Don't be afraid to express your ideas, Power One. You're very much guided by this spirit, or like this spirit guide does have a little bit of a say so on your spirit team. Like, let it go. I mean, and express it. And here we have the card of trickery. When I feel from the trickery card, I feel something real like mental about this, about not really falling into like the wrong energy. But I'm gonna read a little bit about trickery. Notice here that there may be manipulation because of a fear of being rejected. Okay. Like I said, with the fearful world and afraid of the attic, afraid of your ideas not being received and things of that nature. So this is what this trickery is about. Notice here that there may be a manipulation because of a fear of being rejected. There is no evil intent, only a deep desire to be loved. This card may indicate that you should practice asking for your true heart's desire rather than fearing someone else's resentment. And again, with the creation card, one of the things that asks is to ask She Shaman what it is that you really want in your life. Like I said, if you're trapped in a 9-to-5, a dead-end job, or just a job that really doesn't fulfill you, then you're doing your life a disservice. You're really meant to strike out on your own and to create something that's uniquely yours. Even if you are working a 9-to-5 job, you can take all the skills and talents that you learned and picked up at that job, because I'm quite sure you're probably really good at it, and start your own business in that field if that's something what you want. Become your own boss. If you're not really trying to save up money or like really research ways, and research is something that you're probably particularly good at, research ways to find funding for your own projects, then you're doing yourself a disservice, Power One. You're really meant to create something on your own, and you need to do it because otherwise you'll just be feeling blocked in your life with the impasse. You're going to face a lot of challenges, a lot of blocks, and a lot of obstacles in your life, because this is the path that you're trying to be led down. So if you keep feeling opposition in your life, it's because you really need to take the time out to create something for yourself, instead of going down the path that you're probably going down right now. If you haven't really given any thought to creating something on your own. Actually, I feel like I should probably end it here. I felt like I said everything I needed to say. So, Power One, if this reading resonated, please leave a like or a comment. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. If you guys want to support my channel, the links to do so in the description box. You guys can book a reading with me or donate a deck from my Amazon wish list. Any way that you guys choose to support is A-okay with me. Thank you and be blessed. If you pick the Judgment card or Pile 2, then this reading is for you. So Pile 2, let's take a look at your most recent past life and what it is that's meant to be expressed. make sure that I have everything in frame. Yep. Okay. So pile 2. The description of your most recent past life is characterized by scribe and artist in reverse. Now, I've learned my lesson with these archetype cards and ignoring reversals in this deck. I pulled a card for someone when I was just searching and rooting around in the energies of the people around me. I seen a reversal. I didn't want to believe it. I turned it upright and come to find out that the reversal trait was the one that was right all along. And that taught me a valuable lesson when working with this deck, that when reversals do show up, I need to pay attention to it and I need to heed them. So the thing with the reversals here is it lets me know that I need to focus more on the shadow attributes of these cards. The shadow attribute of the artist says, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. And then the shadow attribute of the scribe talks about altering facts or plagiarizing other works. So pile 2, the biggest thing that I got here was that you were definitely you could have been someone quite famous, pile 2, in your past life. But the fact of the matter is that you were a sham. You were a big, fat phony. There's the energy here of you like really stealing and copying other people's work. Kind of like how Hollywood is today, where they only do like soft reboots or they do remakes of other more popular work. This could be the energy here that you're expressing. You could have been someone who had the talent to create things for themselves, to really just come out and like really step out and do something that's very unique to them, but you didn't. And I can say that because for your challenges, we have cast your sacred symbols. Cast your sacred symbols talks a lot about leaving your unique mark on the world, doing something that comes directly from your spirit and bringing it into the physical reality. This is representing some of the challenges, one of the challenges that you faced in this life. These 4 cards up here are the challenges that this life has faced. And with cast your sacred symbols up there was a problem with being original, not producing your own work. And again, that's coming through with the scribe, like of altering facts and plagiarizing, or like using your art as an excuse. There's something here about you like really plagiarizing a lot of works, but having this undeserved air of arrogance about you. Like you could have been quite famous. You could have been someone that I'm hearing the energy of like Shakespeare. I'm feeling like Shakespeare. You could have been like a very famous writer, a very famous artist, but if people truly knew behind the scenes that what was really going on, that you were kind of plagiarizing older works, that you were kind of just doing like soft reboots and things of that nature, that you were just like pretending to be poor, pretending to be starving, and that your life was tough when actually you were making quite a bit of bank from your plagiarized works, then there's something here about that like really being a defining characteristics of your past life. You were a big fat phony. And I have to keep saying that in your past life, you were a big fat phony. just kind of lying, pretty much. Like I'm hearing like creative, morally bankrupt. Even though you were very, very much creative, you could have been very creative. Like you really, really could have been, and you really could have done a lot in your life if you chose to like have a little bit more faith in your own skill, instead of just like kind of going along with the crowd or like stealing from what's popular. So one of the challenges in your life, in this past life, is the card of forgiveness. When I heard this, I heard forgive me. Like, I really think that this is like this particular spirit, this particular life communicating. Because I think because of this life, you could be facing like a lot of challenges in your current incarnation. Energies like this, or lives lived like this, yeah, you can get away with it in your current in that incarnation, but karma has a way of catching up to people. And if it's not going to catch up to you in this life, then it's going to affect you in the next. So if you are like someone who like really faces like a lot of opposition, it just seems like the universe is just like against you, I would definitely check your natal chart for where you have squares. You probably have like a lot of squares around your fifth house, maybe a little bit around your 12th, maybe even some squares and around aspects in your first house. But there could be a lot of blockages in your life because of this past life. A lot of a lot of things just like seemingly not working out because karma has to take its toll on you. The next card that you have is blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. In your past life, you were probably someone that really blamed other people for your problems. There's this energy here of being a liar, altering facts, or plagiarizing, pretending to be posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Like real panhandler trick. Oh, that's right. Because the other card that wanted to come out for you guys and I didn't take it was the trickster. And the trickster archetype speaks of being manipulative. There was something here about you not really living a very honest life. You made a lot of bank. Like, don't get me wrong. I really felt like you were someone like famous. You made a very decent life for yourself. But you never really wanted to portray that. And if anyone ever asked, you were starving, you were poor. Writers and artists don't make a lot of money, but yet you had a lot of money stashed away. You were pretending, you were faking it, you were faking the funk. But you never really accepted blame or anything for your actions in this past life. And I really feel like it's catching up to you in this life. And I'm sorry to say that I hate when past life readings work out like this. And I've done a couple of these, and this is a very real thing. So you might be facing a lot of hardships in this life because of your past life. So the next thing that we have here is the party leader. The party leader is a very interesting card. The party leader speaks a lot of like going with the crowd, of like really making sure that it's okay to go with the crowd sometimes, but not losing your individuality. With this coming up is a challenge of yours in conjunction with Cast Your Sacred Symbols. Let me pick that up. In conjunction with Cast Your Sacred Symbols, Pile 2, you definitely was someone who lost their individuality. You probably lost a lot of flavor and creativity in your work. A lot of people ate it up. Like, this is why I keep feeling like the energy of Shakespeare. Because Shakespeare modeled a lot of his like works off of like Greek theater, off of like a lot of like the Greek formula of writing and of writing plays and things of that nature. Thank goodness English is like one of my strongest subjects. Shakespeare still wrote a lot from a lot of like Greek theater and a lot of the ways that they organize plots, stories, and structures to form a cohesive play and story. Of course, people back then didn't understand anything about that, but Shakespeare probably done his research. He probably knew a little bit about Greek tragedy, a little bit of study, and shit, he repackaged it and sold it to the modern audience. And even though he might not want to see it, he made bank. Okay? He was a very commissioned playwright, poet, writer, and probably a lot of his works were stolen. One of the things that I do remember hearing, at least as I was going through school and like really doing a little bit of research, is that I heard, or at least I came across a lot of people accusing Shakespeare of plagiarizing, and more like this time, like maybe he stole works from other writers, or he had a ghostwriter or something like that. There's an energy here of that finally coming to light at some point. And it's probably like you're probably learning a lot about one of your current past. About this past life now. I feel that you're probably learning a lot about your past life in this life. Don't have to be. Take that how it resonates, but I felt that I needed to say that. So down here represents the energy of this life, and what you have is the Nine of Cups in reverse, the High Priestess, the Sun card, and the Nine of Wands. Now, this tells me a lot. Like, I really feel like you were exposed at some point. You were exposed at some point in this life. Because the Nine of Cups in reverse talks about like having fulfillment, contentment, really feeling personally successful. Because as you can see in this card, this woman is like, she stacked her cups all by herself. She feels accomplished by what she did. But deep down, I feel like with this in reverse, deep down inside, you wasn't really proud of your work. And this is why the blame card is up here and the forgiveness card is up here as a challenge. You knew that what you're doing was wrong deep down inside in your heart of hearts, but you kind of just like pushed it down. You didn't really pay too much attention to it. It was more like a secret thing for you. You never really wanted to accept the responsibility for your plagiarizing or your lying and manipulating. In fact, you kept it a secret here with the High Priestess. To me, this High Priestess speaks of like really keeping secrets, of keeping things to yourself, of really just like maintaining an air of secrecy. But with the sun coming out right next to it, your secret's probably been exposed. Someone probably did some research and figured it out. I'm hearing like this could have happened posthumously, which means like after your death, people really found out and like this information started coming to light. But this also could have been like during your lifetime while you were alive, because we have the Nine of Wands here, which means that you were stressed at some point. I really, like I said, karma catches up. And maybe it was like towards the end of your life where things started to come out and you ended up being stressed because of it. But there was always a feeling of discontent deep down. And even with the Judgment card, like I felt like this was like the Judgment card of like judgment being passed onto this life. Like there's something here around like you having to atone and to work off this karma from stealing other people's work, passing it off as your own, lying, manipulating, and not really accepting responsibility for it. It cost you a lot of stress in the later half of your life. So now we're getting into the message of what this past life wants to convey to you. The first card here represents what it is that you learned and what you brought with you into this life. And what Come to the Edge, it usually talks about trusting in the divine, but I feel like what Come to the Edge, now it speaks of trusting your own gifts, trusting who you are. What Come to the Edge, I really feel like the lesson that you learned was to really put more trust in your own creative talents. Instead of like stealing from other people, plagiarizing other people's works, doing remixes, remasters, and reboots of other popular works, is about being more original with your work. So if you are an artist or a writer, really try to come up with your own original ideas on things. A lot of people try to say it's hard to be original nowadays because everything under the sun has been done, but I disagree. I think that you can always provide a unique take on things to subvert the formulaic way that stories and movies are written. I'm a big movie buff, and I don't just watch movies, I watch movies. I analyze them and I really look for deep symbolisms and things of that nature. And anything that I watch, movies, anime, cartoons, things of that nature. You need to trust a little bit more into the deeper aspect of your gift and your talent. Really allow yourself to be divinely inspired, especially with past your sacred symbols here. I'm feeling the energy of muses. You could be someone who ends up having like flashes of inspiration that's just really brought into you, and you're meant to like really convey those and express those in a way that's unique to you. And this is something that your past life is like bringing to you here. This trust in your own gift and for you to go forth and to create. And now, how can you heal your past life is represented by this card. In order to heal your past life, you need to give into the energy of joy, of happiness, of abundance. Like, don't really allow yourself to become discontent in your life like you did before with this Nine of Cups in reverse. Don't allow yourself to live a life that you're not proud of doing things and taking actions that you can't personally hold your head up with pride and say, yeah, I've done that. This is really about you making sure that you live a life with integrity, with honesty, and to express yourself in a way that's original, creative, and in a way that you can really be proud of it. The Milk and Honey card is like one of the happiest cards in this deck, and it's all about living in abundance, living in a happy and prosperous time. Right now, in order to heal this life, you need to create this milk and honey experience in your life. And you can do it through your artwork, through your books, through your creative expression. But in order to do that, you need to maintain your artistic integrity. Make sure that you're not plagiarizing, stealing other works. I'm hearing like a remix is okay, but really try to incorporate your own original ideas and your own original takes on these things, or on a work that inspires you. So I'm gonna pull some additional oracles for you, pile two, and then we can end your reading. Let me see. Oh, this one's just hanging on by a thread. Okay. One of the cards we have here is the pitchfork. And like I said, you can see how this pitchfork looks. Like, I really feel like you especially coupled with the judgment card, like you definitely had to get your ass kicked by karma. Like, and that's exactly what I feel about with the pitchfork. Every time I pull the pitchfork, I always see like a little imp, a little demon just poking someone into the flames. Like, into the flames of judgment. You really are having to pay karma back for this life. But with the water card here, like, this is letting me know, like, this current life, even though like it might be like have its challenges, your challenge in this life is to really know why you're facing your challenges is because it's something that you've done before in a different life, and to really allow that energy to just flow. Like, go roll with the punches, accept your punishment, and in this current life, in order to work off this karma, you need to create and to do something that's very much intrinsic and natural to you and your abilities. And here we have the pipe, number 55. With angel number 55 showing up, this is about a transformation and a change that's happening in your life. Something that's personal for you. Something that's really going to change and reform your life. You really are being pushed to like live a different life in this current incarnation, pal. Too. In your current life, you're not meant to repeat the same mistakes of your past life of lying, manipulating, claiming to be poor when you're not, claiming to be struggling when you're not, just so you can get some pity and some extra money and donations, to not really sit here and try to plagiarize other people's work. You're really meant to be an original person and lean on your own wisdom here with the pipe card. The corncob pipe to me speaks of a father and their study. There's the energy of refinement to it, of class. Have some class, okay? Have some tact and integrity with your work. Pow too. I heard that very clearly. Have some class, okay? Really make sure that you respect your creative peers, respect them enough to not plagiarize their work and to try to brand it as your own in this lifetime. This is really big if you're an author, an artist, or something of that nature. This is all about maintaining your integrity, your creative integrity. One more card. Completion. Yes. Again, this cycle is over. Like, the completion card speaks of an ending. And this is also a sacral chakra card as well. The sacral chakra card rules creativity. Is where we get the inspiration and the urge to create, to express. Yeah, okay, exactly. So I'm going to read a little bit of the completion card and see what it says. Here is a warm and cheerful energy that brings calm to an ending, making it poignant, not sad. Something is taking place outside your comfort zone, so step into the emotional grace of completion. There is no drama here, only resolution. Like I said, if you guys have been facing a lot of challenges in your life, you're meant to face it with grace. Know that the reason why you're going through these things is to put an end to this previous cycle, to put an end, to work off this karma. And this is meant to be something profound and not something that you're meant to struggle through and to really lament. Have some grace, have some class as you're working off the karma, because again, this is something that you brought upon yourself. And deep down inside in your heart of hearts, this spirit knows that. And that's why it's asking for your forgiveness, Paul, too. That's why it's asking for your forgiveness. That's like I heard forgive me. Because it knows, like, once it passed, that it accrued all this negative karma for you to work off. So it's asking you to really just work through it, Hold your head up high. Have that integrity, pile 2. And just know that this isn't meant to be something that's meant to be something that's not meant to like really destroy you. It's just something that's meant to put an end to something that you've already started. So if this reading resonated with you, pile 2, please leave a like or a comment. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you guys want to support me as a creator, the links to do so are in the description box. You can book a reading with me, donate money, or donate a deck off my Amazon wish list. Any way that you choose to support is A-okay with me. Thank you and be blessed. If you chose pile 3, the 8 of Swords, then this reading is for you. All right, pile 3, let's get a look at your most recent past life and what energy it wants to bring to you. All right, pile 3. I remember this reading, and I remember this energy quite well. This was one of the energy that I kind of resonated with. I felt this. This reading was so harmonious. Like a lot of cards really just wanted to come out for this pile and really just wanted to like talk. This particular guide is so expressive. The guy from this life, I keep calling them guys, but it's really just like your past life. This particular, okay, I guess I need to let you guys in on a secret here. Even though this is a past life reading, I was talking more so to the guys that watched over this past life. For some readings, the spirit itself of that past life came through and is working on your spiritual team to help you work through the karma that they created. But I really feel like with this one, and this one in particular, this is the same spirit guide that worked with you in a previous life coming through and talking to you about a past life that you've had, pile 3. And not this particular spirit itself of your past life coming through. This is the guide that worked with you in a previous incarnation that stuck with you through your next incarnation and is here to work with you and talk to you about your past life. So one of the things that you have here, pile 3, is the description of your previous incarnation. You have the Knight, which is about loyalty, romance, chivalry, and a love of honor. The Child Orphan, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. And then we have the Mystic, revels in an intimate union with the divine. Now, these 3 cards really painted a very clear picture to me. And this is like kind of like the energy of like my life now, which is why I definitely, honestly, truly resonated with this pile. What I get here is that this is someone who really had to like grow up in like a very tough situation, a very tough life. You could, in fact, very well could have just been an actual literal orphan. Or you could have just been someone who's been neglected as a child and you really had to learn to like really survive and do things on your own. There's a strong and pervasive sense that your early life in this past life wasn't really the best for you. You didn't really enjoy it. It was a lot of struggle, a lot of restrictions, and a lot of things that you had to really learn and to do on your own. But one of the beautiful things about it was when you got older, you didn't allow those challenges to make you too bitter. There is the energy of being bitter here, of having like a little bit of a wound here because of those experiences. But overall, when it came down to it, you're a very kind, loving, and loyal person. You didn't let your experiences change that part of you, but it only soured and poisoned your perspective on life. And I'm hearing it soured and poisoned your perspective on the divine, on God, and things of that nature. You probably, wow, this is really hitting me, guys. I'm sorry. In your past life, you probably, as you were growing up and before you hit a certain point, you probably cursed God in your life. You know, you didn't really, you cursed him for the fact that you had to go through so many challenges, so many things that you had to go through and overcome. Like, you really felt like God abandoned you and that he was never really with you. And this was something that wound, that energy is what carried you throughout your entire life, that lack, that distrust in the divine. Even though here you are a mystic. You have a very close connection to Father in that past life. You had a very, very close connection to him. But the fact of the matter is you ignored it. You didn't really understand it. You didn't acknowledge it, and you took it for granted, which is why gratitude is showing up in one of your challenges here. Because gratitude says, I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. But the fact of the matter is, gratitude was something that you're very, very much like not really any energy of, especially since we have the ungrateful daughter and earthly mother. That lack of gratitude is something that's very pervasive in the challenges of your life, of the challenges of this past life, of that lack of gratitude towards the divine for seeing you through such a dark experience early and still allowing you to maintain a sense of honor and integrity and loyalty throughout your once you grew up. You may have like changed your whole perspective on the divine, may have soured, but you didn't allow your experiences to change, to really destroy your character as an individual. You really was a person of integrity. And I really feel like in your life, especially with the energy here in the tarot cards, that in your life you ended up making something of yourself. And that's because you were heavily divinely assisted. Even though you really didn't like pay attention to that fact, you end up making something of your life, and you actually ended your life in a very prosperous and fruitful way. And I'm really feeling like it's someone who actually even gave back. You could have been someone who actually gave back to the communities, someone who donated. I'm hearing a philanthropist. You could have also been somewhat of a philanthropist once you got older and accrued a good sum of money and had some stability. But the fact of the matter is, what's really important here was that you missed a whole entire point of how it was God, of how it was Father, the divine, who saw you through this. One of the cards that really wanted to come out for your reading, that's right, because I wasn't allowed to pull these Iris oracles for the fourth pile, because this was meant to really be a message that you needed to hear, pile 3. One of the things that was really going to come out was the messenger. There, you were meant to be a divine messenger here. You still carried out like some part of what it was that you were meant to do here in this past life. You still had the X down, but what you were really missing was the meat, was the meat on the bones here. The actual like fact that you were meant to really spread the glory of God in this world, to really talk about how your connection with the divine was what really seen you through, to advocate for how real he is in this world, and to really give sacred messages, because you did have the lonely journey of the priestess. And again, the priestess came out, and you have the high priestess here in your tarot cards. You had a very strong and very potent spiritual connection, but it was something that you didn't fulfill your spiritual mission. Even though you still was a great person, you gave back, you missed the point of your spiritual mission, which is why you're reincarnating now and why you have to incarnate again to fulfill the spiritual aspect of your mission. Yeah, you were a great person, you gave back, and you were a philanthropist, but you forgot to give thanks to Father, to champion his cause in this world, and to be an advocate and a figure for the grace and the glory of God, and how he can see people through even the darkest of nights and the toughest of times. This is really hitting my heart, guys. I'm sorry. So this is why, this is why this particular guide is with you, because this guide was with you before in another life. And it's here to like really remind you of the fact that, yeah, you were an awesome person. Like, don't get me wrong. Your heart is great. And I'm hearing like, even in this life, your heart hasn't changed. You're still, I pushed this over. Let me move this back a little bit. Like, even in this life, your heart hasn't changed. But now you need to be more aware of the spiritual side of your life and your divine assistance, because that's what's important. That's what needs to be ingrained into this world and woven into the energy grid. Was the fact that Father, the divine, is very real. It's an intrinsic and interwoven part of our reality, and that we can develop a connection to it and work with it to shape our lives and shape our reality. That's the part that was missing here. You were always spiritually supported, which is why you were able to turn from this child orphan energy and end your life on the Ace of Wands, Nine of Pentacles. Like, have a lot working for you, a lot going for you by the end of your life. My left ear started ringing really, really loudly too. Usually I've been only getting ringing in my right ear, but this time I heard it in my left. Like, so this is a very strong sign for someone. It could be also a very strong sign for me, but this is a very important message for you guys. If you pick this reading in your pile 3, you need to pay close attention to this reading, because this is literally what you need to do for this lifetime. This is your mission. So up here represents the challenges that you faced in your past life. And one of the first ones that came out was omens. Now, omens is all about signs and synchronicities and being able to spot them and interpret them in your life. And this is something that you just completely missed and went over your head in the past life. You were completely unaware of your connection to the divine. You were completely unaware to just the amount of assistance, love, and signs that you've gotten in your life. And what's funny here is that we even have the message in a bottle, which is all about signs, synchronicities, and omens coming through. And I'm going to get into why this card is important later, but I just wanted to make this connection here and now. So remember that it's going to be important later on in this reading. The next card that you have that represents the challenge is regret. I know that I cannot change the past. There was something here about you not being able to let go of your past experience in life, around the fact that you suffered, that things was a little unfair and restrictive in the earlier part of your life. That really stuck with you. Even though it didn't really change your heart and your character, like I said, it soured you to the energy of the divine. You really looked at God in a negative light, because what kind of God will allow me to suffer so? I had to go through and I had to change and pull myself up by my own bootstrap. I had to do this by my own power, by my own will. God had nothing to do with it. And that was very much your mindset here. And that really wounded Father. But the fact of the matter is, he understands. Even though he was sending you sign after sign after sign after sign that he's here. You need to, that you're not doing this alone. You're not in this life alone. They all just went over your head and you did not see it. I've already spoken about the energy of gratitude in this life, about why that was a challenge here, not really understanding and being thankful for everything that's really came your way from Father, from a higher source. You took everything for granted. You might have also seized some opportunities, but you were never truly thankful for them. You were always thinking about how to move ahead, what to do next, how to really big yourself up next. And that's the energy of the ungrateful daughter and earthly mother, not really giving thanks and reverence to the spirit of the earth, or to your spiritual guides, or to Father who supports you and love you. Here, as you can see, this woman has a crown, being very much a spoiled little princess, like of just like receiving from the divine, receiving from the earth, but not really giving your gratitude back to it, to foster a connection and to like really give your love and your love to it. There's an energy here that's very palpable around that. And here we have the gallery of those who came before, which talks about comparison. The gallery of those who came before is letting me know that comparison was something that was very much a big thing in your life. And honestly, it's something that I struggled with in this current life, of comparing your life journey to other people's and having a sort of embitterness of the fact that your life isn't as glamorous, doesn't seem quite as blessed, or seem quite as fruitful as other people's. Now, this is only because of the beginning half of your life here. The beginning half of your life, yeah, it wasn't very fruitful, it wasn't very glamorous. There was a lot of restrictions and a lot of problems. But the whole point of your life was to show how God can really take someone from out the mud and turn them into someone big, successful, and into someone that's powerful, into someone that's like really, really somebody. But the fact of the matter is that that was lost on you. Yeah, you still went through the journey of becoming someone in life who was like very much successful, probably very much abundant with the Nine of Pentacles. It's not the 10, so which lets me know that, there's no legacy from this past life that was passed down. Like, you're not like no JP Rockefeller or anything like that. It wasn't anything like that. But in that life, you ended up having like a lot of wealth and a lot of things that you built for yourself and a lot of things that you were able to like have for yourself by the end of it. You were quite abundant and successful. Like, this is what all your tarot cards here talk about, having abundance, success, that willpower, that fire, and that inspiration. But the thing is, Pile 3, you still had that energy of comparison. And that was something that you probably couldn't let go. You probably was someone who coveted other people's things or coveted other people's life. That was your desire for working harder, for achieving the things that you want, because you know that you want it better and you want it to be better than the next man and not be a better version of yourself. So down here with the tarot cards, this represents the energy of your past life, Pile 3. And you have the Four of Wands, the High Priestess, the Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, I've already touched on some of these cards here, but the Four of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Ace of Wands here, these three cards tell me everything I need to know. The Four of Wands let me know that in the end, you end up accomplishing a lot. That when you look back on your life, you really realize that you had a very wonderful journey. Like, this appreciation didn't come until you were on your deathbed, I'm hearing. Like, you had a very wonderful life. Like, you was able to look back at all your achievements and really be proud at everything that you've done. You were always very strong intuitively. You had a very powerful intuition, a very close connection. You are the mystic, the priestess, the messenger. You had a very strong and close connection to Father, to divine source. But the fact of the matter is, it wasn't really expressed. Well, it was expressed, but it wasn't really something that you gave thanks for. It wasn't something that you truly acknowledged. Like, it was something that was probably a secret even to you. You just received a lot of support behind the scenes and wasn't able to see the workings, the messages, the omens, the signs that you were being supported. And here is the Ace of Wands, a newness, a fire being stroked in your life that led to the Nine of Pentacles, a reversal in your fortune, a change, an idea that came to you that you an inkling that came to you. Because again, the Ace of Wands, the wands typically represent your will, spirit, and things of that nature, and intention. There was something inside of you that woke up one of these days because you are the High Priestess and you received information from on high. And then that idea, that inspiration led you to create something that brought you so much abundance in your life. That was exactly what led you to have this abundance and to end your life on a good note, was the divine coming forth and assisting you. And it assisted you through so many points in your life, but you just wasn't paying attention. And now we get to the juicy part here with the omens and message in a bottle. The message in the bottle card represents what it was that you've learned in your past life and what lessons you're bringing with you. And the message in the bottle and the omen is talking about being able to spot signs and synchronicities, about receiving signs. What you've learned from your past life and you're bringing into this one is how to spot the signs of Father, of divine assistance, of like your spirit being supported. When you passed, you felt really remorseful. You felt regret. Here it is. Felt regret about you not really being able to like understand just how heavily supported you was by the divine. This wasn't something that you realized until you were on your deathbed and passing, that you were so supported, so loved by Father your whole entire life, and that your life was really divinely guided. And you missed out on the spiritual aspect of your mission of championing his name, of being, of speaking about his glory. And again, with the signs here, like this was this was a challenge that was in your life, but by the end of it, you learned your lesson. You've learned, which is why the omens and the message in the Bible card are so synchronicities with each other. This was spotting the signs was a challenge in your life, but by the end of it, this was something that you learned and something that you're bringing forth into this life. You are now more aware of your spiritual guidance and when you're being helped by the angels, by Father, by Source. And that's something that's very, very strong and palpable in this life. So in order to heal this past life energy, pile 3, a change must be had. You must change the way that you lived your life. Not really continue on in the same way that you did in this past life. And what's funny was that this past life was the life that I lived for like a good 27, 28 years until I had my spiritual awakening. And now I'm more so in alignment with spotting the signs and synchronicities of being grateful to Father for everything that he's doing for me in my life, through even my trials and tribulations, of like having gratitude and faith. This is, again, a very resonant reading for me, which is why I can really speak on this reading with such authority, and why the cards were really just trying to flow. Like pile 3, there were so many cards that wanted to come out, each one echoing each other. Like Father, Source, Spirit was really trying to speak to you during this reading. And now I get why. But in order to heal this life, you need to make that change, pile 3. You need to pay more attention to the spirits around you, to divine Source, to God. Make sure you give him the glory, your praise, and make sure that you pay attention to his communications to you in the world, the signs and synchronicities he sends your way. This is all about, and again, with the messenger card and making sure that you deliver that message, that you do your part. That in order to give back to him, only thing you have to do is speak about him with reverence, to speak his word, speak his glory into the world, and to help bring him back, to let people know that he is here, that he is real, and that he loves us all, and that he just wants to help and to like really guide us. Again, not everyone is going to be receptive to that message. Not everyone wants to hear it, pile 3, but it's your job to speak it anyway. And that's your purpose. That's what you're being brought here for. Yeah, you're going to have a very abundant life. You're going to be able to give back to other people. And again, I see the energy of being a philanthropist in your future, of being able to give back to those who are poor, downtrodden, those people who are oppressed. You have a heart for those people and you want to help them. That's what a true knight does. The true knight helps the weak. It helps the oppressed. It doesn't work for the oppressor. It goes against those that oppress. And this is the energy that you have, that energy of chivalry and honor. You are a very integral, a person with high integrity, high morals, and high values, because it comes from not only yourself, but you embody the values that Father loves and champions, which is why your connection to him is so palpable, so close. You get him. You are of him. You are his ilk. You are his messenger, his herald here. And this is why you have such a strong and powerful heart and such a strong and powerful connection to him. So let's get some extra oracle cards before we end your reading, pile 3. Because I can go on and on and on. The perception. Again, this is about changing your views on your life and being able to like actually see things from a different perspective. Again, with that change in wind, especially from the heart. Wow. Come on. I get it. I see it. Next card you have is discovery. Here in the discovery card, this is all about going deeper and really understanding who it is on a deeper level. As you can see, this person is not even a person. This is his spirit. And he's on a road towards Father, towards Sky Father, towards Sky God. This is like the spiritual world. Again, when you passed, you met Father, you seen him, and you started to feel remorse for not championing him, not for all the bad things that you said about him, not really believing in him and his power and his assistance. But he loved you anyway, and he sent you back to do your job properly this time. He loves you, son, but you gotta go back and do it right. And this is why you're incarnating again, pile 3. And again, we have the prayer card. Again, about the power of prayer, about the power of Father. Your prayers is something that always been heard, pile 3. Again, the truest desires of your heart was always brought forth. Even though you was ungrateful of, even though you were ungrateful for them, even though you were kind of didn't show the proper gratitude, Father loved you anyway, and he was being patient and waiting for you to finally acknowledge him. It didn't happen until you were on your deathbed, but now you're meant to live a life where you give him praise and gratitude all the time, and really are meant to get back on your mission of being his messenger. You kind of forgot that in this past life, but you're not going to forget it in this one. And finally, wisdom. There's a deep wellspring of knowledge inside of you. Your heart you are an old soul, pile 3. You've been through so many incarnations. And again, this is just your most recent one. And I do feel like this was of a more modern time, but you've been here since ancient times, pile 3. This past life is more modern, but you definitely been here for a while, and you have a deep wellspring of wisdom inside of you. I'm gonna read all these cards for you, pile 3. So we're gonna start with discovery. The discovery card speaks of, let me see, let me pull this up so you guys can know. Discovery. In the past, you may not have been fully prepared to face facts. Being willing to take the journey, regardless of the outcome, or prove rewarding. Get ready to carry a commitment through to completion. Again, get ready to carry a commitment through to completion. This is a message to you for this current life, pile 3. You were supposed to be able to to be a messenger here, to really champion the word of God. You didn't see that commitment through in the past life, but this time there's no escaping it. Things have been set up so that you can't forget that you were meant to have that spiritual awakening and to come into the knowledge of Father and how he supports you. So the next card will be the prayer card. Inquiry and original thoughts are inspired by the angels. And lemon yellow. Cut through and face the truth and surrender to a higher calling. There is collaboration here and a willingness to change one's minds. Try letting go of control. Again, with the change in the wind. And again, with you being heavily divinely supported. That was something that you missed a point in your past life. You missed the point. Like I said, the important thing here is that you're very close to the divine source. You have a very strong and working relationship with the angels. They love you. They adore you. And in this lifetime, you're really meant to let go of control of your life and to really work with them to do your duty as a messenger, as a herald, to really ingratiate that light code of the divine source into the world. You're meant to be an example and a leader in this world of like the glory of God. I feel it. I'm not changing my wording. I'm not changing nothing on this, pile 3. This is the facts, and this is what you're going to have to face, whether you want to hear it or not. You have to surrender, let go of your control, and know that what you're hearing here is the truth, especially if this resonates on such a deep level. Because this is blow for blow my life, like literally my life. The next card that I get to read is the perception card. Emerald offers a regal ability to see things differently and the chance of embracing transformation. There's an ability to attract wealth here if you have an open heart. And like I said, you're meant to be abundant in this life. But this is all having a lot to do with your heart chakra, of being able to, again, because ingratitude is a blockage of your heart chakra, not being able to express love. And even here, the gratitude card is green, representing the heart chakra. Not being able to like open up yourself to express love and gratitude to the divine source will really hinder you in this lifetime. Before, Father let it slide, but he won't let it slide in this lifetime because you have a mission that you need to complete. And in order to like at least get the wealth back that you had in your previous life, you need to open your heart up to him and to give thanks. So that's one of the biggest things here. And to see your life differently. Your eyes have finally been open to the signs here. And even in like this, even in the perception card, you see there's a bird there. The wisdom card, there's a dove here. There's a bird here. And there's a bird here. Being able to spot little things like that to really know that this is like a big confirmation. This is a true thing. We have a recurring sign showing up just in this reading. The dove, the bird, the hawk, having a higher view and a higher perspective and really realizing the peace and power of God. This is very important for you, Pile 3. And finally, we have wisdom. This is the earth green, which brings wisdom. Patience and brings wisdom, patience, and acceptance. Sage is perfect when you need to prove nothing, when you choose to simply be wise. There is an ability here to bring serenity to any situation, and indeed it may be needed. Let me get a little bit more on it as well. One of the things here is like, is there some wise counsel that you've sought only to ignore it? Are you trying to do things alone? A solution may come from those more experienced than yourself. Stay in the present moment and do not let your thoughts jump ahead. And one of the things here was the energy of impatience. Be patient with your life, Pile 3. It's all going to unfold in divine timing. You just need to let go and surrender to the flow of your life and be attentive to the signs and synchronicities of your life, Pile 3. This is how you're going to heal your life, and this is how you're meant to change your past life. How you heal your past life, and this is how you're meant to inspire change in your current life. Give more glory to your divine connection and watch how your life really grows up and expands. Have more faith in your divine connection and watch how your life grows, changes, and expands in this incarnation. Your growth, your potential has been locked behind the wall of being able to see through the veil, of being able to see into the spiritual side of things, and to know how closely related, how the spiritual side is just as real as this 3D reality. Father, spirits, and the angels are very much real, and they're very much a part of our everyday lives. And it's time that we stop ignoring them, stop thinking of them as just something for our entertainment, and really come to understand that we are here to be in a closer and more unified presence with them. That is how you create heaven on earth. And you are the one that's been given that key, and you are, again, the one that's been given that key, and the one that's meant to spread this knowledge, Pile 3. So if this reading resonated, please leave a like or a comment. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you guys want to support me as a content creator, the links to do so are in the description box. You can book a reading, you can donate money, or you can donate cards off my Amazon wish list. Any way that you choose to support me is A-OK and welcome with me. Thank you and be blessed. If you chose the Lovers, Pile 4, then this reading is for you. So let's see what your most recent past life was like, and what does it have to say to you? All right. Pile 4, your energy was somewhat similar to Pile 3, but now that I finished Pile 3's reading, even though you guys are similar, there's still a clear difference here in you guys' reading. So Pile 3, the card that represents your Pile 4, the card that represents your past life is the Mediator in reverse and Child Divine. Reversals in this deck means that I need to focus more on the shadow aspects. So the shadow aspects of the Mediator is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. And you also have the Child Divine, which is innocence, purity, and redemption, suggests a special connection with the divine. So Pile 3, Pile 4, I need to stop that. One of the biggest things that I got about this life in particular was that you do actually you had a special connection with the divine, but it was something that you really didn't understand or pay attention to until later in your life. Because before you used to always try to just do whatever you can to get ahead. But I feel like towards the end of your life, you You found spirit, you found father. You could have been someone who really was just like a vagrant on the street and then turned it and then went to a convent or something like that, or became a monk or something like that. There's something here about you really redeeming yourself by the end of your life and really coming into a fulfilling connection with the divine. You were someone who used to just always try to think of themselves, someone who always really just tried to just like really get ahead by their own way. But there's something here about realizing how that was not the way for your life and really redeeming and changing yourself and becoming someone completely different by the end of it, which is very beautiful. I get the feeling that you, Pile 4, I feel like you're one of the only Piles here that really completed a whole life cycle. Like you got it by the end of your life. You understood the assignment of what you were there to learn. And by the end of your life, you fulfilled your incarnation. You fulfilled the point of your incarnation. And I think this is the only Pile where I can say that for. You fulfilled the point of your incarnation. And that's a very big and momentous achievement. You went from someone who was very selfish or always just tried to like really get the best from themselves to someone who redeemed themselves, who became more pure and really was an expression of the divine. Again, the shadow attribute of the child divine is an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. But you've learned to repel those urges, those base desires, and to live in a way of that's actually very that's very, how can I say this? That's very righteous. So some of the challenges of this life, Pile 4, one of them being the new day. The new day speaks of letting go of the past and like really just like embracing the energy of a new day, of knowing that each and every day is a new opportunity to be great and to do something different. And the energy of grounding, which is of course about grounding your energy, becoming more calm, stable, and more consistent in your energy. With these being a challenge, I really feel like you were someone who always worried a lot in the earlier portion of your life. You worried a lot about your financial security, about your personal security, and you went around doing whatever it was that you could in order to ensure your safety. But what you really needed to do was to learn to relax and really realize that you were in the hands of the divine the whole time, that you had a special connection with him. Like in this particular life, you were meant to come closer to Father, to the divine source. And in that way, this is why I said you're very similar to Pile 3. You were meant to like really unify your masculine and feminine aspects of yourself. You were living your earlier life just solely on your masculine aspect of trying to go through, trying to achieve, trying to make a way. But you really had to learn to like really give in to the feminine aspect of you, of like really connecting to your spiritual guides, learning to ground your energies, learning to like really allow some things to come to you and to not always go out and try to chase. By the end of your life, you got it though. And that's one of the most important and beautiful things here. You've really changed by the time your life ended. So some of the other challenges that you have here is grief and trust. Grief is, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And trust is, I always accept that my inner voice will guide me correctly. So yeah, again, you had a problem of letting things go. When things went wrong and it was time for things to fall away out of your life, you will always trigger panic mode and try your best to like really maintain a lot of things that were meant to fall away out your life. And if something is meant to fall, it's going to fall. And when things are falling away, you have two choices. You can either choose to lament it, to try very hard to hold on to it, which is only going to bring you more pain, or you can trust in Father, trust in the divine plan for your life and allow it to fall. Listen to your inner guidance and just let it go away. Instead of just like listening to your ego screaming at you that you need to maintain. This is something that you've learned and mastered by the end of your life. I'm hearing like you became much more wise, much more calm, and you're in the later stage of your life, and you just really just understood that things happen for a reason. Things happen for you and not to you. By the end of your life, you learn to trust your inner voice and to listen to your guidance, which was something that you struggled with during this lifetime. But by the end of it, you got the hang of it. You understand that certain things are supposed to fall away, and it's just an opportunity for you to appreciate it more. I like that about the grief card. that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And that was something that you really wasn't paying attention to. You were really just trying to grasp and hold on to things that were meant to fall. So down here with the tarot cards, this talks to me about the energies of this life. You have the Page of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Magician. And I'm going to even pull out your bottom deck card of Judgment. So with these cards showing up in your reading, pile 4, this gave me a very clear picture of your life. You started off as someone very impetuous, very, very much feisty and fiery, and just like very ambitious and wanted to just like really make sure that they hold on to everything. But the fact that this is the Page of Wands was that you were kind of immature in the way that you went about it. Again, with Mediator in reverse, you were very a little bit underhanded, or always just like really tried to just negotiate for yourself. You wasn't really mediating. You just came through under the guise of being a mediator, but really you was just trying to increase more gain for yourself. But the King of Pentacles tell me that by the end, you really mellowed out. The King of Pentacles is so mellow, so chill, so relaxed, so calm. Like your energy's really stabled out by the end of your life. And you became more reliable, generous, which is the opposite of Mediator in reverse. You became more generous. And what's funny is that this says visionary, and one of the cards on the bottom deck for your pile is the Visionary. So here's another synchronicity here. The capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. The willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. This is what you had to do. Forego personal gain in order to just do what is right because it's right. Become a generous person and not just try to not be so selfish and just try to negotiate for yourself because you wanted to maintain a sense of security. And this was something that you've learned by the end of your life. You really learned to just let things flow, to be stable. And again, we have the Fool card here. And again, to me, the Fool card is always the card of faith. By the end of your life, once you really became more stable, you learned to trust in into the divine plan of your life a little bit more. And again, here we have the word purity right there with the child divine. Your readings have some synchronicities in here, just like pile 3. With the purity here, you really learn to just surrender to your connection with the divine, to put everything in Father's hands, to learn and to find peace in the fact that what's meant to be is meant to be. What's meant to fall will fall, and what's meant to come will come. And this opened an unimaginable power in the later stage of your life. You probably ended your life on a very high note. No, I'm not hearing that. You ended it on a high note, but it wasn't like you wasn't incredibly abundant. You just had peace. You found peace in your life. And that was what was truly and honestly aligned for your life. That was your calling, that was your mission. And you manifested and achieved it with the Magician and Judgment. You achieved your purpose for this life, for this incarnation. And that was just to find peace and contentment in the energy of the divine. To redeem yourself from your past life. Redeem yourself from your earlier life where you were just like very selfish, only out for yourself, very underhanded, and to come into a more calm, generous, and visionary place. To be able to like really do things for the sake of other people, for the people around you, for the sake of your community, and not just really just try to do everything for personal gain. That was your life mission, and you achieved it, Pile 4. So really, you got to give yourself a clap for that, Pile 4. You are the only Pile that achieved their life mission, that set out, learned their lesson, and done it perfectly, the way that they were meant to. You did that, Pile 4. You did that, Pile 4. So here is what you've learned from your past life and what you're bringing to you. And with this is healing. I really feel like in this current incarnation, if you're really falling back into the energy of the past life of just trying to do things just to maintain your own sense of personal security, you need to cease and desist and stop. Stop it, Pile 4. You're really meant to you've already been through that lesson. You've already learned it in the past life. And because of this mending here, your current life is meant to be really great. is really meant to be really blessed. But what you need to do is like really just understand that your life is healing, things are changing, and that this good karma is kicking in, is working itself all throughout your current life, Power 4. This good karma is working itself into your life, is becoming needed and ingrained and interwoven in your life. But what you need to do, because this energy of the mediator in reverse can really stay here, because the fact of the matter is we do sometimes perpetuate a past life, at least like from our childhood to a certain point of our age. We do perpetuate and continue a cycle from our past life, but then we stop and we flip the script. We go from our south node to our north node. And what I'm really feeling here for you, Power 4, is that if you're still in this this energy where you just need to hold on to things that's falling away, where you're just sitting here worrying about everything that goes wrong, when you're just not really trusting in the divine plan for your life, you need to really learn how to become more at peace with the flow of your life and allow it to go. And what's funny is that I mentioned flow. And what's funny is that how to heal your past life, you have to the sea. And to the sea, which is a 7 card, which is a very highly spiritual number, speaks of allowing things to flow. If your life seems like a lot of things are just kind of going wrong, you need to really trust in the fact that everything is going wrong and falling away so something better can really be brought in. In order to heal this past life, you need to not succumb to the energy that you've already healed before, of trying to grasp onto things that's falling away, of trying to acting out of bad faith, only to secure your personal position and your personal power. It's up to you to really just relax into the energy of your life and allow it to flow. Like I said, good karma is really meant to work itself into your life, but you can slow it down and block it by falling back into this past life energy of becoming worried, feeling grief over things that fall away, of not really grounding yourself in the moment and just like relax, chilling the fuck out, Power 4, and just allowing things to just like work. You can very well block your blessings, delay your blessings by getting into the energy of worry and not trusting in a divine plan for your life, because you have nothing but good karma coming towards you this life. And you can't change it, but you can block it and delay it. And if you continue to block it and delay it, then it'll just have to come to you in a life after this one, Power 4. So you can either reap the rewards now, or you can continue to be human, continue to fall into your ego, and just trip the fuck out over every little thing that goes wrong in your life and not be able to see the bigger picture. The choice is yours, Power 4, and it's up to you on how you're going to live this life. So I'm going to pull some additional oracles for you, Power 4, and then we'll end your reading. So let's see what we got for you. The owl. Again, wisdom. The owl is all about having like an inner wisdom and an inner knowing. Again, you've been through this. You completed this. Deep down inside, if you really connect to your inner voice and trust your inner voice, you'll realize that you got nothing but good things coming your way. Relax. Chill. That's probably something that you hear a lot from your intuition. It's just relax. Things are going to work out. You have good karma coming your way. Good karma throughout this life. Like, don't delay it. Don't block it. You have so many good things coming your way, Power 4. Only thing you got to do is just allow yourself to go with the flow of life, remain calm, generous, and loving, and things are going to change. Your heart is very important here. And again, another number 11. We have 1111, and even the Magician is a 1 card. Like, you 2 11s. Look up angel number 11 and look up what 1111 really means. You have nothing but good karma, really beautiful things. You could also be a life path 11, a master manifester. Then you're really meant to lean onto the spiritual aspect of your life. Again, with the Magician card here, with the power, you're meant to lean into the more of the spiritual and manifestation side of your life. Learn about how the law of attraction really works. Come to a deeper understanding of universal laws. You already have that energy, that wisdom deep down inside of you, and you need to connect to it, Power 4. If you're still worrying and like concerning yourself with human trifles and not just allowing your life to flow. Let's get another card for you, Power 4. This one. The diamond. Come on, the diamond. Diamonds are formed under pressure. And I really feel like you've been through that pressure in your life. Like you've faced everything falling away, of like really being down to the wire, of having to be crushed, heated up, and like pushed out. Again, like I said, with the mediator in reverse, you were trying to hold on to a lot of things. You probably really had to go through a lot of things falling away, experiencing a lot of grief. But you had, the whole point was for you to trust in the divine and trust into Father. And this is very reminiscent of the experience that I've just been through with my life, with me thinking I'm about to face eviction, but I received the money out of nowhere. Like, really know that you're being well taken care of. And once you really realize that, no other threat, no other scary little thing that comes up is really going to affect you. And I even was told to pull one more, and I looked down, it's the feather. You have divine angelic assistance in your life. Whenever you see feathers, they always say that it's because an angel was there. It's a very prominent sign that you have angelic support and assistance. So if you see feathers in your path, then just know that it's because, that's a message from the divine, from your guardian angels, from your spirit team, to let you know that you are supported. So really pay attention to that particular sign and synchronicity in your life, Power 4. It's really meant to help you out. Rejection. Don't fall into the inner monologue that you might have, your doubts, fears, and anxieties, or a lot of things that other people might project into you. Maintain your peace. Keep your energy stable and ground yourself in the knowledge that you are divinely protected, that you have nothing but good karma coming your way for this life. And you need to believe it. It's your destiny. Power 4 is your destiny. You have very beautiful energy here, Power 4. Very beautiful energy. Mysticism. Things are working for you outside of your realm of knowledge and outside of what you know. A lot of things are happening for you behind the scenes. You have all these cards of the higher chakra, of the third eye and crown chakra cards. Your life is really meant to be spiritually led this time around. Again, very much like Power 3. Except where Power 3 came here with a mission, you came here to just enjoy. Power 3 gets to enjoy too, but really you don't have a particular mission in this life, Power 4. Your particular mission is to maintain the energy that you worked so hard to build in your past life, where you healed this trouble and you learned to just really fall into the trust of the divine. The divine really wants to take care of you for this lifetime because you completed a job and you done your past life well. You did a job well done, Power 4. And now it's time for you to reap your rewards in this life. But you can really block and delay it by not having trust in your inner voice, by not having trust and faith that things are really working out behind the scenes, that you're here, you reincarnated again to experience something beautiful in this life, and that a lot of things in life is really going to be working behind the scenes. You just have to trust because you're not always going to be able to understand it. But having a very mystic connection, and which is funny because the mystic card came out in Power 3, but you have a very spiritual and magical connection to the divine. And that's been trumpeted with the Child Divine card. You have a special connection with the divine, Power 4. You have nothing but good karma coming your way. You just need to let the journey of life flow. And know that in the end, you're going to end up in a much better position than where you are now. Your life is always meant to get progressively better, but you can always slow that down by falling into the energy of fear, anxiety, and doubt, and allowing other people to fill your head with nonsense instead of just trusting in your own path and trusting in your own inner voice. So Power 4, that was your reading. Leave a like and comment if this reading resonated with you, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if this is your first time watching. If you guys want to support me as a content creator, the links to do so are in the description box. You can book a reading with me, you can donate money, or you can even donate cards off my Amazon wish list. However you choose to support me is A-okay with me. Thank you so much for your time and your energy, Power 4, and please be blessed. Bye.